How we doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen? It is Jason, TCP Super System, coming to you on this beautiful Thursday night, December 4th, talking about TCP Super System, which is what I built to identify opportunity zones in cryptos and stocks. System, signals, interpretations, trades are not financial advice. Please consult a licensed advisor before making any trades. You are responsible for your own decisions. This is for entertainment and education only to show you how I use this system to identify opportunity zones in these markets. So, XRP's on the screen, daily on the left, weekly on the right. These markets are being bipolar at the moment. We had a nice little run up. Now we got another retracement. And you can see we were starting to see what we thought was positive momentum on XRP the other day, back on the 24th of November. It turned over again. It didn't make it. So now we're seeing some sideways action. But I do want to call your attention to some news that I came across. I'm not going to go pull it up and read a bunch of lines. I don't do that on this channel. But Japan, you need to go research it. They are setting up using XRP Ledger for digital identities, which is basically establishing the foundation for their tokenized economy. All the banks are scheduled to be using XRP. It's about to be remarkable. I just have a weird feeling. I think we're due for some volatility in the market with that Japan reverse carry trade. Go look up Jake Claver if you don't know, if you want to learn more about that. He has a domino theory that he talks about with oil prices spiking, the Japan reverse carry trade unwinding and all that. But you can go check him out. But yeah, I mean, this thing's getting very interesting. We might see another double dip here. I'm not sure. It doesn't look too great right now. Again, looking at our hot sensors, nothing's in the red, so that shows me there's still room to the downside potentially if this thing doesn't hold this level. It's just weird with all the ETFs, the Japan announcement, other DATs, and sovereigns investing in XRP. It's just weird. I think they're wiping all this leverage out. I'm telling you, but not going to rehash the opportunity zones. You can see them on the screen. Standard deviation methodologies. That white line is now back down in those lower extremes with the orange and blue. That is not a good sign. Looks like we might be going lower for XRP, so get ready. Again, even on the weekly, the hot sensors all through, well, the short term is below the midline. It's actually getting worse, going from white to gray to blue. So that is definitely not a good sign there for XRP, my friends. But we shall see. Bitcoin had a nice little run up here. Again, I want to show you. You don't usually see red a lot on the Bitcoin chart just because it's I guess mature enough to where you don't get that much volatility as you do in some of these other meme coins and altcoins. But again, you can see at the top we got to those extremes on the upper side, and you see it starting to turn over, and that orange and blue line never made it through that green zone. It didn't quite make it, so I would expect to see some volatility here. And again, I think I had a request for tonight to look at Render and maybe BitTensor or Tau. So on Render, I want to show you all this. I like Render at these levels, personally. Again, $1.72 as we talk right now. You can see we're bouncing in and out of that opportunity zone that we previously identified. Again, $1.73 today. 418 is our 418 to 4 basically 50 is the upper zone that we've identified based on leverage out there. Again, these are the areas where we have historically seen some massive opportunities. You got a bunch of orange and red on these hot sensors. You got an improving standard deviation methodology up here. The white line, it's not there yet, but it is improving. It looks like the orange is about to start trending higher. Exactly what we want to see, just not quite there just yet. Again, if we can get a little bit more upward price movement here on Render, would expect to see a potential trend reversal, which is a yellow triangle. and then a yellow label, which is our confirmed uptrend, and or a changing of the cloud color from red to green. That's what we would be looking for, along with the standard deviation methodology. Again, I can't stress enough how important this is. You can see how these lines have diverged here on this cloud, on this downtrend. You got level 3 diamonds all over the place. That's a cluster of level 3s in the red on the medium and long-term hot sensor, orange and red on the short term. You can't get much better than that. So we'll see in the coming weeks where this thing goes. Again, trading 173, upper zones identified around 440 to 450. So could be pretty cool there for render. Tau, BitTensor trading in at 291 right now. Again, in our zone, you can see it's kind of fluttered in and out here the last couple, what's that, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. Not quite as pretty on the chart as render. Similar space. You can see we've had some volatility here. Again, hot sensors aren't necessarily where you want them to be. It's kind of in no man's land. You're trading right about the cloud, typically an area of volatility. The standard deviations don't look just as good, or don't look as good as what we saw in render. So if I was personally choosing between the two, I would be choosing render at these levels. Again, not financial advice, just how I use the system to make decisions for myself. So that is two of our plays there. Let's see, what else can I give you tonight? Chainlink, watching this one closely. Again, those ETFs have started now. Again, we've always said this in the past. You get a pump above the cloud to an area of resistance, typically one of the moving averages. We basically bumped right up against the top of the zone and the 50-day moving average. Now seeing some volatility back down toward that cloud. But look at here. You've got a yellow label. That's a confirmed uptrend. That's nice to see. I would still expect this thing to come back down into maybe the upper 13s, and then we could see a reversal to the upside there, going back up toward our upper targets, which are basically 24 to 27. That is Chainlink. Again, very nice to see here. It's early on in a downtrend on the weekly view, but we got level 3s already. You can see it already started going back toward the cloud. We need to be careful there because it can hit the bottom of that cloud and resume lower. So we'll just need to watch this. But pretty nice to see Chainlink resume higher here. It bounced off that basically 12, 15 mark, which is right around that 200-day moving average on the weekly. So all those things line up pretty nicely. And those are the types of things we look for. I mean, it's not rocket science. Let's check Solana. Man, very nice opportunities on Solana. It's one of the major ones. Again, level 3s on the weekly, bouncing right off, or well, the diamonds were on the 200, but the candlesticks were not. So, I mean, we'll see where this thing goes. I'll say this. When I start seeing things like this, typically you'll see some sideways action. Again, back up to the bottom of the cloud, then it goes lower. Again, on the daily, you can see we're still in the range here on the low side, which is good. We're actually above the cloud. You've got that confirmed uptrend. Just like we saw with Chainlink, it could approach the 50-day moving average there. That's 161. So we'll just need to watch it here. Obviously, it bounced right above the cloud. It came back to the cloud. So this could be your cloud retracement before we go higher. We'll see. Again, the standard deviation methodologies aren't quite ready yet for Solana. Again, long term, obviously we're in this leverage liquidation zone. We've got the upper zone identified at 240 and higher. I mean, that's just a call you got to make for yourself. Again, hot sensors are kind of in no man's land here. But yeah, I mean, long term, I really do like Solana. But there may be some faster horses here in the short term, but that is that. Let's see, what else can we give you? Let's go with H bar again, kind of like XRP, it turned over. We were getting excited there for a minute with the white line approaching the upper end of, you know, I guess breaking through that red zone. It turned over. Again, orange and blue never made it up to that through that green zone, so it turned over. It's pretty common to see that. We're still in this zone, hovering around the top of it. Looks like there's still some downward pressure here. So again, I'm not quite ready there for H bar. Can't wait for that one. That's a big one that we have. Hopefully we can get back to that 30 cent range. That's more than a double up from here. So H bar there. Um, Avalanche. Again, a lot of these look like they might be bottoming out pretty close here. And if you listen to a lot of these other YouTubers, a lot of them are, a lot of them pick a certain token. They say the same thing over and over. This channel, you're going to get different interpretations and signals as the time changes and the price action moves. So that's what's unique about this channel, folks. I want you to realize that, some of the commentary, the verbiage might be similar, but the storyline will change with our channel. It's not going to be the same message over and over and over like you see with people who just want one token to do well. This encompasses anything we have on our list. So if we're not covering tokens you want to hear about and want us to do interpretations on, put those tickers in the comments. We will add those to our list of cryptos to monitor. And hopefully you can get some value from this stuff. If you appreciate the TA, please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends about me. We're trying to grow this channel, trying to hit that 600 subscriber mark. I know that's tiny. Again, I don't do this to make money. I do this because I want to educate and inform. I don't need to make money on the videos. I make money off the trading. Again, this has done me very well, and I just want to help share that with my community, and that's what I'm doing. So again, appreciate all the support, all the engagement. I try to comment if I can, and be very careful if you read the comments. If you see me put out a video, I try to do a really good job of monitoring the comments. If I put out a video and I see 14 comments of promoting some garbage token I've never heard of, talking about Walmart and how this and that's it's going to blow up, I basically delete and block all those people. So if you are into a token and are a legitimate person that's not some bot or scammer, don't do that because you will be blocked. You can reach out to me, but don't go on the channel promoting a token because to me that's probably bottish. When I see 100 or 20, 30 comments promoting one single token and all the comments look pretty similar, I delete all of it. So and I block those accounts and I block those terms, so you probably won't see that token mentioned again. And that did happen today. So just be careful when you read the comments. If you don't see it coming from me, then it's probably not. Just be wary. Protect yourself. There's a lot of scammers. So let's see. Dogecoin, another one with an ETF out there. Obviously, I don't think the ETF on this one is done quite as they expected it to. Again, I think there's a second ETF coming here. I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 21 shares. Not 100% that I got that correct, but maybe. So there will be a second one most likely coming. Again, smack dab in the middle of our opportunity zone here. Kind of in no man's land again. We're kind of, in a volatile zone here. It could go up, could go down. Haven't got a confirmation just yet that we're in an uptrend. But again, 30 cents there for Doge on the upside. Hopefully we can get back there for that one. Again, I'm in at 18 cents roughly on my trade for Dogecoin. So we'll see where we go in the coming weeks and months on that one. I think a lot of people have, that I've listened to, they're expecting fantastic end of year, last week and a half of December, plus going into first quarter. Expecting crypto to have some potentially a massive run here. Supposedly the government's now done quantitative tightening, probably preparing to hit those printer buttons, printing some money, lower some rates, pump liquidity into the markets. Should be good for stocks, should be good for crypto. But again, you got some macro events out there if you listen to some of these other channels that could really create some black swan type events or price action. So be careful here. I think there's probably opportunity coming. But again, when you see all these opportunity zones on the downside and we're in it and you see these diamonds, I would just caution against being too greedy. You don't want to try to get too greedy and then miss the pump when it happens, because when the pumps happen, they happen fast. And if you miss that, you're going to be kicking yourself. So, do your research, try to get your own conviction. And obviously maybe some of the information I bring you is valuable, maybe it's not, but we do try. So, let's look at a stock or two. Haven't done the stocks in a minute. So, CleanSpark again was one that we had called out. Oh man, if you go back and look at some of the early on videos, we nailed this run up. We nailed that exit. Again, we got the diamonds on the downside. We're nailing it again. It looks like, if you see this Bitcoin run, you're going to see these things run. This is a Bitcoin miner. Again, a pump up above the cloud. It nailed the resistance, came back down, confirmed uptrend. I like this. I like this a lot. Let's just say this. On the weekly, we're improving on the hot sensors. On the daily, we've crossed over all three to the upside. We're improving. It's getting stronger, going white, I guess, blue, yellow, but, white, gray, white. So this thing could run again. Don't be shocked. White's up in the extremes. Blue is through that green zone, almost through the red zone. Orange is coming through as well. I mean, that's what you want to see. So yeah, like CleanSpark here still. Zone, it's killed me. It's crushed me. Again, we're in at $1.12. It's down to 31 cents. Of course, it looks like it's post-market close today. That is, I think Zone is the Dogecoin. It's a Dogecoin, basically treasury company. Yep. Dogecoin treasury firm. Clean core stock. Slides as losses mount. Blah, blah, blah. Again, that's tons of level 3 diamonds here on this downtrend. Red on the hot sensors. Red on the weekly. Level 3s on the weekly. I mean, this is where I typically would make a movement for myself. Clearly, I did back at $1.12. I think you all heard that or saw that. So hopefully this thing can begin to run. Again, I still got a nice ways to go to get back to even on that one. That's a 3 to 4x, but then maybe it just keeps pumping. So we'll see where it goes. But that is Zone. We'd like to see that Dogecoin ETF have some positive impact there, drive that, maybe some price appreciation there. So we'll see what happens. Metaplanet, I got to always visit my Metaplanet here. Looks like we bounced off that bottom finally, which was around 217-ish. Now we're back to about 252, trading above the cloud. Haven't got the confirmation yet, or it hasn't quite transitioned back to green cloud yet. But I like where we are on the hot sensors. I like where we are on the standard deviation. Tough spot here. How much lower could this thing really go? I don't know. Would like to see that orange or blue line get up through that green zone there. But yeah, Metaplanet, I like it here. Again, this is what the color schemes and the locations for price action that we look for. Then let's close out with, let's see. Was SUI? I think SUI was one that we liked too. Yep, so here's SUI. Again, we nailed that bottom zone, literally in it. We now have a confirmation of uptrend. We've got two zones identified to the high side, anywhere from 213 going all the way up here to about $4. And we're at $1.66 right now. Like what I'm starting to see on the hot sensors, we're improving. We've gone from yellow back to orange. We've crossed over on the short term. We had the level 3s on the weekly, literally in that zone there again. Can't get much better than that, folks, at pegging this stuff. So that's all I'm going to give you tonight. This is Thursday. Friday, we will be doing, well, let's see, Friday or Saturday. Let's see. Probably Saturday morning, we'll be doing the crypto rapid fire session where we go through every single one. stopping where we feel it's relevant. So that is it for tonight. Hope you enjoyed that TA. Again, Jason, TCP Super System. Hit that bell. Don't miss these videos. I think you'll find it pretty valuable. And to tell you what, for my compadres out there, you know who you are. Share this content with some creators that you follow if you do, and just see. I would like to start getting some feedback and comments from what true creators in the space think about this stuff, because I don't think you find this anywhere else. I've seen other TA channels. This is a lot different. This is not your MACD RSI garbage. This is a system I put together over 2 to 3 years. I'm telling you, it's remarkable. But if you can, and if you follow other people, share it. We'd love to know. Let me know if you do that. Tell me how you feel in the comments. I'll keep engaging you. See y'all. We love you. See you tomorrow.